Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more cartography. So let's take a look at our speed run, not speed run, time lapse here. The first thing that we're going to do is we've decided to redo the rivers because they were too wide. And we had done them in Illustrator, and this is the point where we throw away pretty much everything that we did in Illustrator, which kind of is frustrating because it defeats the purpose of having everything in Illustrator. We just get rid of all the rivers and we make them a lot smaller. We also take a quick look at wedding pictures for a moment for funsies. So we fill in all the rivers, then we do a tiny little erase to make the rivers more visible. The rivers are about 2 pixels wide at the smallest rivers. I think the biggest one ends up having like a mouth of 5 pixels wide or something. Excuse me, or something. And then we kind of play with coloration on things. We're going to add a little lake there, add a whole bunch of rivers, and we're going to color in the mountains. Well, actually, we erase all the mountains, then we redo the mountains because they were kind of overlapping, and now we're going to add the mountains in one at a time, and we're going to kind of like highlight the previous areas, or the areas around the existing mountain, and then place the other mountain so it sits behind it without any of the mountains actually overlapping. Then we go through and color them, then we go through and give them snow, and the coloring is in snow is just, it takes a while, and I think it comes out pretty nicely in the end. We'll actually touch up those mountains a little bit later on, I think in the next video or two. And then we add hills. And oh boy, do we add hills. We had a lot of hills. And we put a lot of work into getting the mountain coloring quite right. It's pretty good here. Look at all those hills. They're beautiful, aren't they? So one of the other things, the nice thing about having these small rivers is that it's much easier to change your mind about rivers and add them and erase them. Oh, and also notice when we went from the fat rivers to the skinny rivers, now all the forest that we had placed around the fat rivers, now that those rivers are much smaller, there's all this extra space. So we need to go back and re-add forests in and around the little fat rivers. So yeah, that's what we were doing there. Let's see, let's color some more mountains. Uh, oh yeah, because the kingdoms also have to be completely refilled in. And then we gotta re-add this and re-add that. And I added some more islands in the Illustrator version because for some reason I kept thinking, hey, we can just keep this Illustrator and Photoshop copy even though they're not like in sync with each other. That's a bad idea. The entire Illustrator approach to this was a bad idea in the end. I really hope you didn't start making your maps in Illustrator because of the first series of these. I was tempted to say don't do it, but I didn't want to spoil that. A lot of that work was completely useless and we had to throw it all away. Ooh, there's a nice, very dense forest there on that island. I still haven't figured out what to do with that forest or that island. And now we populate a lot of woods, lots and lots of woods, and we start to add some color behind things. I like this nice tannish color, I guess, for the plains. And you'll see in a little bit, I think, that we also add some green behind the trees to give it in the forested areas to give it some more vegetative look. So it's not just like yellow with trees. I don't know if we'll actually get to that this map. It might come in the next one. But we just go through it. There you go. See all that nice green? I like it a lot. Well, green's my favorite color. I like everything that's green. And then we start adding other details like that little crater lake over there, and the reds for the hills to kind of give it a more arid look. And the top, we had some snow earlier. We got a swamp in there. It just passed on screen real quick, like it's kind of the bright greenish color. And so yeah, so today it's lots of playing with details, lots of adding colors and trying to figure out how to they work together and how to actually do anything art related because I'm really not that much of an artistic person. We play with a bunch of different brushes. I go AFK a few times. Yeah, there's not actually a lot to say. This video is much longer than the other ones, and really there's not much to narrate when you're watching a cartography time lapse. So that's pretty much that. Oh, look, we added a mountain. I can't believe we did that this time. We add the mountain, added some snow, clear some forests, add some more trees, add some more swamps, play with the lake, play with the rivers a little bit, add a couple of lakes, do the big hills, do the poison lake and a couple other lakes. It's a starfish lake. Add the hills and the lakes. There's not a lot to narrate. How are you guys doing? Why don't we just take this time and talk about other things that are going on? So by the time you see this, the application period for Hardcore Heroes is going to be over. We are no longer accepting applications for Hardcore Heroes, but we will be doing auditions coming up pretty soon, and the 150-hour marathon stream is coming up pretty soon. That's coming up in November, like on November 18, I think is the start date in Vietnam. And the end date is November 23, because yeah, 150 hours is 6 days and 6 hours. Um, we tried to add a desert by like taking an actual picture of a desert and then blending it in with everything else, and it doesn't really work. I'm not a fan of how that turned out. So in the end, we're going to do some, what do you call it, cloud. We're going to render some clouds with kind of reds and oranges, and then just brush it into the background using the eraser. See, that looks way nicer if we get a still shot of it, which we may not. Um, and then we try lots of different things here and there. It goes out pretty good. Get our forest, get our coloration, get our swamps. Yeah, now the map's taking shape. Now it's looking kind of good. The map is really starting to come together by the end of this video, and I'm actually really pleased with how it looks here. So that's the end of this session of cartography. My God, that was long. That was 11 hours of cartography, guys. We'll see you next time for a slightly shorter cartography video. Bye-bye.